Man, you already know what time it is. It's your boy Malky. This is MRK Podcast, episode number 43. We finna get it going, man. I'm finna pass the mic over to your boy Kane. He gonna say what he gotta say, and then we gonna play the theme song, man.
Shit, man, episode 43 pretty soon it's gonna be episode 50. Next thing you know, it's gonna be 75. Next thing you know, it's gonna be 100. It's gonna keep on going, man. We're back here talking some more shit, pissing more people off. So make sure y'all grab your snack, y'all drink, y'all weed, whatever the fuck the case may be. Sit back and relax and pay attention, hoes, fucking whores.
Thanks, let it go. Yeah, so a little bit. Song is 81. Hey, yo. Sit back, sit back, sit back, sit back, get me to sit me, get the beat, I'm on me, get the seed on this earth, this earth, I've been cursed, it's cursed, it's cursed, it's blood, it's deserved, it's lost, it's worse, and it fails, and it helps, and it melts, to relieve all this tension, this space, and these things, it's getting this breath, just been eating me recently, off of this test, and I rest again peacefully. But at least at the beat to the end, you leave me alone in the streets, see me out in the streets, when I'm eating the feed my daughter tonight. So with that being said, man, we finna get it going. I'm gonna let your boy Kane start off, man. What you got to talk about tonight?
Man, I want to talk about how people will either on the internet or behind your back talk so much shit, but when you look at them in the face, they sit around and pretend like they don't know what the hell's going on. They pretend like they didn't say nothing. They pretend like you the best of some friends. And I'm gonna give y'all something, but I'm gonna tell y'all this little story. This is something that happened a while ago that I actually forgot that fucking happened. But back in middle school, I ended up taking this one dude's bitch from him one time, and he got salty and mad about it. So he hits me up on Instagram talking like, "Hey, bro, you better stay on my girl's DM, so I'm gonna fuck you up and whoop de whoop de woo." And at first I thought he was messing around, so I was like, "All right, bet." I said, "Meet me at the fucking park, and we can figure this shit out." And this fool literally tells me, "I can't. I'm grounded right now. My mom won't let me outside." And so fast forward about I'd say maybe a month later, I see his ass. And when I see him, he sees me and he realizes how much bigger I am compared to his little ass. He's a little Asian kid too. And he walks up to me. He says, "Hey, bro, it's Kane, right?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Hey, man, I'm sorry for all the shit that I was talking on Instagram. You know, I was just mad as hell. You stole my bitch and shit, and she was really a hoe. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Fucking try to shake my hand and shit." And I'm like, this little motherfucker right here on the internet talking gangster, but when I see his ass, when it's time to duke some shit out, he starts fucking apologizing and getting on his knees and begging daddy not to fuck him up. And it's crazy, bro, because like I said, on the internet, people pretend to be gangster, but in person, it's a whole different energy. It's a whole different vibe. You never know how big that person is compared to you, how much fucking stronger they are, how much more skill they have in fighting. You don't know what the fuck that person has or knows that you're talking shit to. So it's like when you see that person that you've been talking shit to, bro, don't switch up. Don't get on your knees and start begging Mr. Incredible not to fuck your ass up and you've been over here talking so much shit. You know, unless you've been straight up said it's a character. But even then, if you a character clowning somebody, don't sit here and start crying when they try to press your ass. You better stand on what you said on the fucking internet because a lot of people take that shit seriously. So when I'm sitting back, I'm just like, man, this fucking kid right here, uh, I can't believe, and he quote unquote was almost a black belt in Taekwondo and tried to shake my hand instead of whip my ass. That's how you know a lot of people on the internet is really just a bunch of pussies. What's your thoughts on that shit?
Man, one thing that I heard back in the game is imitation is the purest form of flattery. A lot of these niggas they want to imitate certain personas that they see on the big screen when they really just a bunch of small bodies. Yeah, yeah, yeah. These niggas a bunch of small bodies. They sitting around. You know what I'm saying? They want to act tough, but their bark, man, their bark is way more piercing than a bite. Let's just say that. Yeah, yeah. These niggas got baby teeth. I mean, it's got to the point to where I realized a lot of people on the internet, the things that they say on the internet, they don't really want to do that in real life. And if they do, they don't even have the strength to do it.
I mean, I see niggas in my local area. They don't know I know who they are, but they know who I am for damn sure. But niggas will get on the account and say, "Hey man, this, hey man that." But when they see you, man, hey man, I love your music, man. These niggas don't even stand on whatever they say they am. They're the opposite of the theme song that we played today. So it just goes to show you that the dogs that bark all the time, it usually be the little small shits. But when they actually get into a real quarrel, they understand who the big dog is. And sometimes the big dog, they understand how much of a bitch they are to the ones that they view as small. So it's like, man, cowards make cowards of themselves each and every single time they do all that chirping. And then they come around, they try to shake your hand like, bitch, I know you've been gossiping because the person that you told me because y'all some messy motherfuckers. You a stupid hoe. You's a stupid hoe. Stupid, stupid. So man, I done witnessed been in many situations with power puff pussies like this, and it just goes to show you that just because a nigga yelling don't mean that he really a demon. Yeah, yeah, yeah. These niggas ain't demons. No, these niggas ain't angels either. Nah, 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 man. These niggas ain't shit. These niggas are the abominable race that will be buried beneath the earth for eternity because, nigga, they shouldn't have never even happened. The archangels wasn't supposed to do what they did, nigga, and that's how these pussy niggas got created, man. So, with that being said, man, that's what I say about that shit, man.
Yeah, 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 man. They're not angels, they're not demons, they're little leprechauns. And the little leprechauns be the ones screaming the loudest. And little cowards be the ones making the most noise. If you ever notice when you see somebody in a fight who really scared, who don't really be about that shit, and they're in a life or death situation, they be swinging and screaming and shit, trying to keep them away from them. That's how you know they're really not about that shit, bro, because they never been through that shit. So when you see them screaming and swinging, you know they ain't never been through that shit. They talk a tough game, but they don't walk the walk. They talk the tough game, but they don't walk the plank. They don't do none of that bullshit. So they just be talking loud just to act tough, because really all they're trying to do is put on a persona to scare your ass off. But a lot of people don't be the ones getting scared. They be the ones doing the scaring.
Straight up, man. But with that being said, I'm gonna go and get on my topic. So, as you guys might know, last night was or the day before was UFC fight night. And Sanhagen fought Chio Vera. But fuck that fight. That was boring as fuck, and I'm glad I didn't waste any time watching that bullshit. But um, Dana White spoke after, and I know you niggas is mad because I didn't see no post today. You know why? Because Dana White doubled down on Colby Covington versus Leon Edwards, and you niggas are mad. You niggas are creaming, screaming, and you can't even hold your semen. That nigga came out and said, "Oh, Jorge Masvidal talking. Guess what? He's not fighting next." Oh, Bilal said he's talking. Guess what? He's not fighting next. We already got him signed up for another fight, and he said, "No matter what, Kobe's fighting." And he said, "Well, the dude said, well, I don't think it's." And you could just tell when these niggas are emotionally driven, biased reporters that should have never ever got a degree, man. They got their goddamn degree in a Cracker Jack box. But anyways, because when you're covering anything, you're not supposed to be biased. Fox, CNN, all these fucking media platforms. But anyways, back to what I was saying. He said, "Well, it's not fair, man. Kobe's been out for a year and a half and he hasn't fought." And then Dana White interrupted him and said, "Well, guess what? He got fucking jumped. Jorge Masvidal sucker punched him. He was ready to fight whenever he was willing to, but he was dealing with things. And guess what? Before Leon Edwards had this fucking title shot, he hadn't fought in 2 years." And boy, that reporter didn't know what the fuck to say. The reporter just changed the topic immediately. And they were like, boy, they were just shook. So it got confirmed again that Colby's fighting. And then Colby Covington posted a picture with a caption that said, "Don't cross the boss," with a laughing emoji. So I want to see what you got to say. And boy, Leon is screaming right now. And if he doesn't accept his fight, they're going to vacate the title and give it to Colby regardless. So he has no power. He can't fight the power. Bitch, Dana's your daddy. And this is exactly what Jake Paul is talking about. And boy, you can say whatever you want about Dana White, but he's standing on what he's saying. I respect him for that. So, what's your opinion about everything that I just said regarding this Colby Covington shit?
Oh man, I think it's tough that Leon I don't got a damn say in what happens whether he fights him or not fights him. He fucking loses the title. But that's what happens when you are in a competitive sport and you own the crown to the hill. You become the king of the hill. You got to fight to keep the crown. You can't just say, "No, I'm done." You can't be like some of them fools who beat somebody once at a game and say, "All right, I'm done," and hold the fight and hold the dough. You can't. Nah, 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 nah. Because there's other people who be thirsty and hungry and starving for that shit, and they're gonna do whatever they gotta do to get that shit. So you gotta do whatever you gotta do to defend your title. And if you want to be a pussy and give it up, then he's going to be a pussy and give it up. He's going to give up that pussy too to his daddy, Colby Covington. He's going to give his pussy up to his granddaddy, Dana White, too. But no, man, it's just crazy. Um, I seen some of the video that you was talking about, and man, some of these reporters, man, like I don't know where the fuck they went to school at or whatever for journalism or none of that shit, bro. It's like they pulled that shit straight out of their ass somehow and barely passed the fucking test. But see, it's just man, it's funny when you see people scream, cream, and let out all their semen and shit over some goofy ass shit like a sport, and you see all these other fighters acting a damn fool instead of just being like, I bet I'm gonna fight till my chance comes up, till my turn come up. Instead, they want to sit around and cry like, oh man, uh, he's giving Colby Covington a chance. He's been out for a year. Why can't I get a shot? Even though Leon Edwards got it after being out for 2 years, they shouldn't give it to Colby. See, people pick and choose who should get what based on their fucking opinions, their beliefs, and their viewpoints, which is really bullshit at the end of the day. Because if you have a separate opinion, a separate view, a separate belief system than I do, and you work harder than me and earn the shit that I was trying to get, guess what? You earned it. Congratulations. Just because your opinions and shit don't line up with mine doesn't mean that you don't deserve that shit if you work harder than me. So with that being said, Colby Covington just works harder than Leon Edwards and all the other fighters, and that's why he is being given that chance at the title because he put in the work. He literally proved the fact that he puts in the work by cutting weight the same fucking day and weighing in. And it just goes to show you, bro, nobody in that weight division does it like he does. Nobody takes it as serious as he does. And Leon Edwards, bro, if you don't accept the fight, you lose the title. But if you do accept the fight, you're probably gonna lose the title anyway. So it's a lose-lose situation unless you figure out some way to knock his ass out. I doubt that's gonna happen, but anything is possible. So I really do hope that he does accept the fight because I am very interested to see if Colby's gonna knock him out or if somehow, some way, shape, or form, Leon wins by points. I don't know, man. It's gonna be a real interesting fight, and I can't wait to watch it. Dana White's a savage. You can't change his mind on something once his mind been made up. That's the end of it. There's nothing you can do to make him go back on it. Cause yeah, he runs the UFC. He owns that shit, so he can give the title shot to whoever the fuck he wants to. And y'all can keep screaming and creaming and crying and squirting out your semen and shit. Uh, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, y'all can keep screaming, creaming, and squirting at your semen over some shit that Dana White said. Because guess what? All it's gonna do is make him smile, and it's gonna make him give Colby Covington the title shot even more. There's nothing that y'all motherfuckers can do about it.
Yeah, man. Usman fought a week ago, and Bilal Muhammad has been tweeting about Kobe ever since then. Nigga, I don't know how, but the algorithm showed me Bilal today on Twitter, and he was still tweeting about Kobe, bro. Like he's still tweeting about Kobe. He's talking about Kobe's glasses, why he wears shades. He wants to see his eyes. He wants to do all of this shit, man. And then on top of that, imagine this scenario. So Kobe Covington beat the shit out of Jorge Masvidal. Now Masvidal is on a losing streak, which is crazy because Leon wants him to fight for the title with the nigga that's on a losing streak. But imagine somehow, well, obviously Kobe's gonna run through Leon like a hot knife and butter, and then imagine Jorge Masvidal somehow beats Gilbert Burns, which I don't see happening at all, but he does, and then somehow Jorge Masvidal gets a title shot um against Kobe Covington. Imagine that rematch, boy, because Jorge Masvidal sucker punched Kobe because he was in his feelings about the character that Kobe was playing to sell the fight. And Kobe went in the ring and whooped his ass for 5 rounds. and he was mad as fuck because not only did he get roasted and shit talked, but he lost the fight. So that's why he had to be a bitch and wait until Colby was coming out of a nightclub and run up with a hoodie on and punch him when he wasn't looking. That's why he had to do that because he couldn't do it in the octagon because he wasn't skilled enough. So he had to be a bitch. But just imagine that rematch for the title and Colby just whoops his fucking ass. That would be a dream. I'd rather see. I want to see that, or I want to see McGregor fight Colby because boy, that shit talking exchange would be. I
Oh
would spend every
shit.
dollar on that. And
That's
Colby
facts, man.
respects Connor. He's the only person in the business that he speaks positive about because he knows that Connor is the legend, bro. Connor's the reason for all that. Connor's the pioneer of the trash talk.
Right? Yeah, I want to see that shit too. I would love to see Kobe versus McGregor. Uh, man, I would have to say that I would be rooting for Conor McGregor. Honestly, I think because his character and the way he fights and shit. I don't know. I'd love to see that fight. But at the end of the day, it's like I said though, it's like I don't really be voting on people much. I just vote on who knocks who out. You know, I just like to see who's gonna knock who out. That's what I like about sports. You know, fighting sports is just watching and see who's gonna get knocked out. But yeah, man, that would be the most interesting fight ever to see. Uh, the man Jorge Masvidal, the way he did that shit is crazy as hell, boy. You supposed to be a professional fighter and you go out and do some shit like that. That shit blow fucking dude's mind, bro. That shit crazy as hell. You get so damn salty that you gotta go outside of the ring, no doubt. The reason why he did that shit outside of the ring is because he knew that if he did it inside the ring, his ass would get fouled and probably fucking he would have been penalized and he probably would have been forfeited. He probably would have forfeited his fucking fight. So that's why his pussy ass did that shit outside the ring with a hoodie on, acting like he a vigilante or some bullshit.
Yeah, man. So we're about to wrap this episode up, but man, Izzy and Pereira fight not this weekend, but a week from that. And boy, I cannot wait for this fucking fight. I'm hyped. And then your boy Jorge Masvidal is fighting too. He's fighting Gilbert Burns, so we're gonna see how that goes. Um, yeah, man, there's a lot of great fights coming up. The UFC is better than boxing because they know how to make entertaining fights and they don't just fucking hide the best fighters from the best fighters. They make the best fight the best, and they put on the best shows, bro. Boxing is boring as fuck. No one gave a fuck about the Benavidez Plant fight yesterday. I didn't watch it. It went to decision anyways, and no one gives a fuck about boxing. Boxing ain't been the same since Mike Tyson left. Floyd Mayweather, the only reason he was entertaining is because he talked a lot of shit. No, Floyd is a goat when it came to marketing, but his fights were boring. He didn't even knock niggas out. I miss the days of boxing when niggas were headhunters. You see Mike Tyson's record? He won a lot of fights and he lost some, but guess what? He always tried to take a nigga's head off. So I missed boxing needs to take some fucking notes. And that's why Jake Paul, I respect him because he's the only boxer I give a fuck about right now. Besides Ryan Garcia and Tank. I want to see that fight too. But boxing is boring as fuck. Y'all need to take some notes, man. But Izzy and Pereira is going to be one hell of a fight. They're going to end this once and for all. So with that being said, Kane, you got any last words before we conclude this?
Yeah, man, I never really been much into boxing myself. It's just it feels like boxing has gotten so soft to where most of the fights that they be fighting now are no knockout fights and shit because people don't want to get their damn feelings hurt and all that other bullshit. It's what it feels like to me. What it looks like too. I haven't paid attention to no boxing in a long ass time. And I don't really be paying much attention to sports, period. You know, the only sports I really be watching now is like UFC and shit. But even then, that's every now and then. I'll sit down and watch that shit all the time. But yeah, man, it's just and there's just something about using hands only that I can't fucking stand. I'm more of a kicker than I am a puncher. So when I'm watching fights and shit with people can kick and punch and elbow and shit, that shit is way more entertaining. So I'm like, oh hell yeah, that's something that I can more relate to. I just can't fucking stand boxing. But yeah, man. With that being said, make sure y'all share with y'all friends, your families, your mummies, your aunties, your grannies, and everybody else that y'all know. That being said, I'm getting the fuck up out of here. Deuces.
Ain't gonna breathe till I see what I wanna see. And what I wanna see is you go to sleep in the dirt. You is being hurt. This ain't gonna work for me.
Peace.
Deuces. That